Ita. So this short clip is inspired by one of the questions that was raised by one of the government officials in the light of the current crisis we're having regarding just gender-based violence. She was basically asking the question, what have women done to men to deserve all these experiences that they are enduring? These horrible experiences that they are having at the hands of men. And I couldn't help but think of a number of things, but one thing that came to mind very quickly was how much as society we have messed up. Okay. Society does create monsters. These monsters that we see today, society has had a huge role in creating them. And I'm not saying that's the only factor. There are a lot of factors. But for this clip, for now, I want to argue that point. There is so much hypocrisy that exists in the upbringing of boys versus girls. From a very young age, when you are male, you assume your privileges, and they are very made explicit in our family systems. I'm not sure if it's a cultural thing, but I'm a boy, and I've been there, and I held a lot of privileges that my sisters wouldn't have. It could be simple things like having a little conflict with your sister, and you hear a parent jumping in, reprimanding the sister. Say, hey, khulunywa kanjalo nomfana wena. Bhuti wakho lo. At times, the poor sister has to even apologize, even when they were not in the wrong. Simply because they are arguing with the boy. Privilege is right there, clearly defined. From that very young age, you realize that I'm important, and I'm not important because of my actions. I'm just important by virtue of being a boy, Some families would be very strict and expecting their kids to be playing quite a role, cleaning and house chores and things like that. And as a young boy, at times, you just wake up, go to the street, kick the ball, come back dirty later. The sister can't afford to do that, You may both be reprimanded for doing it, but it's not the same, And if I'll clean, I'll pay, and you are a girl, that line would always be thrown at you. We should tell you, intombazane njani, yabo. Usikhathanisa nomfana. Again, privileges are there, So from that very moment, you clearly define who's important in the family setup. Just think of a typical teenager who falls pregnant in a typical Zulu family. Hayi, umshubo ke lo. Yabo. Umithile, umncane. Yes. You may even lose your family. Okay. I've seen people who get chased out of the house because they are pregnant, And in most cases, boys don't invite the same harsh reaction from parents by impregnating someone, If umithisile akufani nokumitha, basically. Even before that, you may not fall pregnant. It can be an issue of dating. If I'm a young boy and I'm dating this girl, next week I'm dating that one, across the street, and the other week it's that one, and it usually invites positive responses. there are always those light moments when people talk about it. You know, but my sister can't do the same thing, you know. Even to be fine with one just boyfriend. You know, you have two boyfriends. Yo, it's fair. You know, we reprimand you for it. You know, it's harsh. You know, you punish for it. So it's okay when it's done by boys. It's very wrong when the girl does exactly the same thing. And that privilege is kept ongoing as we grow older, you know. Because even when we become adults, it's there. It's reinforced, and society is very good in being consistent, in keeping the privilege going. Just think of a typical Zulu wedding. The amount of advice that is directed to the lady. Uzibambe siqine. Kuyashisa emendweni. We even have those phrases that are very common in marriages. Most of the speakers who will be talking in a wedding ceremony study their content, and they'll realize that it's mainly directed to the female. The female is already prepared for war. Come on, it's marriage, always and forever. In a marriage, already you are prepared for war. You know, even pre-marriage ceremony, kuba nesikhathi whereby the elders have to sit in with umakoti, bam advise about how to deal with and how to handle things in the marriage. The advice is mainly around encouraging her to be strong. And not much is done on the part of the man. Yet, this woman and this man are the ones who make this thing called marriage. You know, so the privileges are there, you know. And when we become older, we've held these privileges for the rest of our lives. We've been defined by them. You know, that's why we are quick to say, you can't talk to me like that. Ngindod. You know, we indodenjani. We can even reprimand each other as men and say, "Ay, but when we indodenjani yenza ukuthi. Tshela intombazane kanje." You know, that right there is a problem. So, we didn't become just monsters at this age. We were created. We were manufactured to be monsters from a very young age when we were boys. And it was reinforced, you know, in our families. It was reinforced through patriarchy and in the manner in which we are socialized, you know. And then that's why it's difficult that you expect people to change when they are older. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. Because it's really like that. Usemanzi, you know, it's very difficult to tell a man in his 40s that they need to let go of their privileges, when those privileges define them from the very beginning. Because you are actually telling that person to lose themselves, you know. We can't do that. Some of us, you know. Yes, we can learn, we can unlearn it. Don't get me wrong, we can unlearn it, but it's very difficult for some to do it, you know, because it's been there and it's been reinforced in society all the time. So, if we are to have a decent fight against gender-based violence, we need to ensure that the energy that we invest in raising a girl child is doubled in raising a boy child. You know, the sort of values that we instill in girls and the sort of expectations of behavior that we expect from girls should be doubled when we are dealing with boys. Because the truth of the matter is that boys and girls are coexisting in this world. These boys will be older men who will run families, who will have kids, and you can't expect to teach them at that age to start divorcing privilege and to respect women and to value women. It needs to be reinforced and encouraged. That equality needs to be reinforced from a very age. So we create monsters, and this very short clip basically is challenging myself, because I have boys, and you to work extra hard in ensuring that we raise decent boys who will be decent husbands, who will be decent colleagues in the workplace, who will be decent old men. Because we can't expect to be winning the fight when we are dealing with them when they are older. If we don't work with them while they are younger, we'll have a really hard time trying to change them when they are older.